Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning, Barbados. Welcome to today. Today is Tuesday, by the way, for those of you who are a little bit confused as to what day it is. It is Tuesday, the 14th of July, 2026, and I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you everywhere. Thank you so very much for waking up to keep us company. What another beautiful day. You know, as I was in the corridors moving around this morning, I kept thinking, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got this wonderful feeling something's coming my way, and I hope you feel the very same thing as well today. And I wish you well as you move around. Remember, you have two basic commandments to achieve. Love the Lord your God as your own, and then you love your fellows, your neighbors, others as you love yourself indeed. So you do that and you're good for today. At least you're good for today. So make someone's life more meaningful today. Let that be part of your mission as you proceed. So welcome everybody. For those of you joining us on our streams on Facebook and YouTube, good having you company. Thank you so much for waking up to keep us company and for logging in. Share the show, share the love, bring others along and let them share in what we do. And of course, while you have your conversation online between yourselves, have conversation with us as well. I encourage you to not miss a beat. So engage in your questions and your comments. We absolutely love to read your comments. And again, if you know of something that has to be told by us or someone whose story has to be told by us, you believe, and because you know about it, then tell us about it. Tell us by sending us an email with all the details. We'll follow up. The email address is at the bottom of your screen as we speak. It's morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and I thank you for doing so. The competition continues for you for a chance to win that brand new Suzuki Across GLS two-wheel drive with a sunroof and 1 year's insurance. It's simply when you spot or connect for that chance to win. Spot the car anywhere it is, indeed all crop over long. You see the car and you take a picture of it. Look at your screen. You take a picture of that car branded with this vibe, crop over vibe. Then you take a picture of it and you send that picture either by WhatsApp or to email. If you send it by WhatsApp, you're sending it to 233-7356 along with your name and all of your contact details. If you send it by email, the email address is contests@cbc.bb. I encourage you to do so as many times and as often as you choose to do so. Or you can connect with any of our partners in this process, and all the time we've been sharing with you on television the different partners, and they've been telling you how you can connect with them and how in connecting with them you get entries into our big crop over Spot, Connect and Win competition. The competition runs until the end of the month. Today is the 14th. You have until the 31st to take your action or actions and get your entries in to win this beautiful, beautiful car. I'm telling you, because it's a hybrid, it means it's extremely efficient when you're driving and using your vehicle. So imagine yourself for just a moment sitting in the driver's seat of that brand new Suzuki Across GLX, and then imagine the bill. Little to nothing when it comes to the use on the road indeed. So there it is, a good full view of it, and that good full view along with your picture gets you in the competition as well. So remember, take a picture with your name, address and contact details. You send it by contests@cbc.bb or by WhatsApp to 233-7356. So the competition is on, the deadline is nearing, it's very, very near, and so you have little to no time now to really get in there. So get in there with full earnest. Look out for the car, get it in. If you don't have the time to be looking for the car, you can connect with any of our partners and follow the process there as well. They give entries into the competition as well. So good luck to everyone everywhere. I also encourage you as it goes to continue listening to our radio stations. We have 3 radio stations here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. There's 98.1, the one which is really our party station. There's 94.7 FM, Vibe 94.7 FM, which is the sound of the festival. So you're going to get everything festival related right there. And then there's Q100.7 FM. We talk it up indeed. So I encourage you to keep listening and watching. TV8 brings you all the action as well. So keep watching with us right here. There's football also on. The Football World Cup is on. So today there is a semi-final match the two languages, France versus Spain. France versus Spain. Are you following the tournament? And if so, which team, France or Spain, do you think will win today? I have my favorite team, and one of them is playing today. So what's your team? What do you think? What do you think will be the result today? You think about it, and then you keep following us here at the CBC as we continue to bring you all the action for the Football World Cup for 2026. Now, coming up today, Sir Hilary Beckles will share with us in just a moment the why, the call for reparations, the what's in the manifesto that brings the coming of enlightenment for the peoples of the region as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little while as we share with you something he shared recently at the heads of government. The Department of Emergency Management and SEDEMA, they're hosting a regional conference real soon. And so we'll share with you what's to be expected as outcomes from that regional conference. The band that includes some people who we consider to be on the margins, those with different abilities. This band is hosting a Kiddies Kadooment band, and so we'll give you more details. We'll show you the sections, and we'll make sure that you allow your person or persons with different abilities to also enjoy the sweetest summer festival. The Ministry of Agriculture is embarking on a national campaign that looks at predial larceny, but how will it work? They will join us as we take a look at the mechanics to that particular campaign. And we'll also today be sharing with you, if you've missed it, some of the energy from the recently held pandemonium in the National Botanical Gardens. So great reasons for you to stick around and be with me. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, we get going this Tuesday morning on Mornin Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Typically on a Tuesday morning, we begin our show with our conversations on CARICOM. But Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comishong, is a part of a delegation that has been dispatched to the UK today. And so he, along with a number of other eminent persons from the Reparations Committee, are in the United Kingdom arguing the message for reparations. It continues, the journey continues, and they're also enlightening through the manifesto that has been written by CARICOM about why it's important for the reparations movement to proceed with haste. And so ahead of it, I want to share with you this morning now one of those comments, explanations given by Sir Hilary Beckles, who leads that delegation at the recently concluded CARICOM Heads of Government. In it, he talks about the why for reparations and also the why for the manifesto that sets a very clear 10-point plan and more as CARICOM sees it. So let's take a look and listen to what Sir Hilary Beckles has to share.
I cannot speak without historicizing. There's always a beginning, and I wish to go there, and I go there quickly. Where are we now? And who are we? That's probably the most important question. Who are we? The historical evidence shows that we are in the 5th wave of the reparations movement. This is our time. we are standing on the shoulders of ancestors. This is our moment in time. The first wave, we know, was in the slavery period itself, when free black people would demand compensation and justice. They saw themselves as persons whose labor was stolen, and they wanted compensation for this stolen labor, which is based on a standard philosophy that every human being is entitled to benefit from the fruits of their labor. Why were black people not allowed to enjoy the fruits of their labor? It went to someone else owned that labor. So we had that first wave, and we have many cases of enslaved people becoming free and demanding compensation. Some got, most did not. Then the second wave was the emancipation decade, the 1820s and 30s, when the European parliaments, the British Parliament, was debating, should we free these black people or not? And eventually they settled on the model that said we will compensate the slave owners, we know that, for the loss of their property. The government was taking their property away from them and therefore had to pay property compensation. It was the first time in the British Parliament that they actually admitted that black people were not human beings, because the compensation they were going to pay was property compensation, to take the taxpayers' money and hand it over. They needed a framework, and they said property compensation. The British government and the British people together, they owned 700,000 black people in the Caribbean, and therefore the value was 45 million pounds. That was our replacement value, or market value, so compensation. The enslaved people then, in the 1820s, were demanding, we too want compensation. So when the decision was taken to give the enslavers compensation, the enslaved said, we too want our compensation. They sent petitions to the British Parliament. What about us? We want compensation for the theft of our labor. What did the British government say? Be still and be quiet. The compensation you are getting is your freedom. We are freeing you, and that is your compensation. That is your reparations. So you take away someone's freedom and their right to their labor, and then those who took it from you then say, the compensation you are receiving is that we're giving you back your life. That is your compensation. Second phase. The third phase was the first generation of free black people in the Caribbean. 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, generations of free black people are now demanding reparations and compensation right across the Caribbean. They're saying, we have not given up, we want reparatory justice. They were asking for land, they were asking for better wages, they wanted access to social services, schools, and so on. And organizations were springing up across the Caribbean calling for economic and social justice. Well, you know what happened in each case. 1865, Jamaica, they massacred the working people of Jamaica for appropriating unused land to plant crops. In the midst of a famine, to plant crops, the British government authorized the Jamaican government to remove them. And the army went in and massacred thousands of people. The leader, Port Bogle, they put a rope around his neck, and that was how the British government settled that phase. The same thing happened across the region. The newly emancipated all stood up for reparations. Then the fourth phase, of course, was the 1930s, when all of the Caribbean again rose up against colonization. And every island, one after the other, from St. Kitts, Belize, all the way down, Barbados, Jamaica, then ultimately Jamaica, all demanded the end of colonization and the beginning of nationhood with reparatory justice. What did the British government do? Send in the troops. Never, never. The troops went in, they massacred the people of the Caribbean again. So we are now, once again, we are in the fifth phase. This is our time. So we have said, as Caribbean people, We're not going to let the struggle of our ancestors go to naught. We are going to take it up. This is our time, our duty, our responsibility to honor the legacy of all of our ancestors who demanded justice. This is our time. And so we rekindled the movement, and we said to ourselves, hopefully, this is going to be the last phase. So June, when we said that this 21st century is going to be the greatest political movement of the world, reparatory justice, we meant it, because we could feel it. All of the people of the world today who have been colonized, who have been enslaved, whose resources were plundered, whose people were stolen, all over the world, at this moment in history, everyone is saying, we want justice for what has happened to us. So this might have started in the Caribbean, Africa, America, the black people of this hemisphere, Africa, but now it is everywhere. It is now everywhere. And so at the United Nations 3 or 4 weeks ago, when the resolution was passed, people from all over the world, Asia, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, the Far East, all those people came together and said, we are standing with the African black people on this matter. China, Russia, Iran, all of those countries stood with us. This is the moment. This is it. So here we are now at the final stage where we believe that the case has been made. For 300 years, did we have a legal case to reparatory justice? The answer now is yes. The case has been made. There's nothing more to discuss about whether there's a case or not. The question now is implementation, demand. That's where we are now at this moment. That is why Africa and the CARICOM are now in league providing global leadership for the next phase. I want to end on the point which June made about our women. When the Europeans designed a legal system called chattel slavery, they structured it, they conceptualized it, they designed it, they put it into law. At the center of that was that the black woman was the carrier of the seed of slavery. So the laws were designed that only a black woman, as you heard, could give birth to an enslaved child, because a child at birth, under the laws, took the status of the mother. At birth, the child took the status of the mother. So if the mother was white and the father was an enslaved man, and there are many cases, of course, we have in the records where enslaved men were having children with white women, those babies were born free because a white woman could not give birth to a black child. So all of those babies of mixed race, whose fathers were slaves, but whose mothers were white, those babies were born free. And we have them in the census, X number of so-called mulatto children, born free, mothers white, fathers black. So that became the model. The black women were seen as perfect property. Perfect property is how they were described. You could buy them as property. Now, as you know, when you buy property, it's your property. You can do with your property whatever you wish. You can buy it, lease it, mortgage it, sell it, use it as currency, pay taxes on it. Anything that property did, the black woman did. And on top of that, she gave you babies. By the time the baby was born and weaned and ready to work, the baby was born owning, it now was more valuable than the mother. So let's say you go down Castries and you buy a woman off the slave ship, you pay £30 for her. The first child she gives you, by the time that child is 10 years old, that child is now worth £30. So the mother's value has been replaced. The next 2 or 3 children is pure profit. You have your return on your investment, and now you have profit from each child is more profit. So she is producing profit and producing money. On top of that, with your property, you have a right to derive social value. So, you have sexual access, it's your property. You could not rape a slave woman because in law she was property. You cannot rape property. There was legislation against raping animals. There were laws against the raping of sheep, goat, and cows, but there was no law against raping black women because they were property. And that was the value. So therefore, she gave you economic profit and she gave you social benefits. And the system of slavery was built upon the black woman. And once we understand that, we can understand why it went on so long and how it was structured generation by generation. So when you speak of intergenerational trauma, you're talking about a perfectly conceived system in the imagination of the slave owners. So we say to our women today, and June was in that class I taught at KFIL when the majority of my students were female. And one of them stood up and said, "Professor, you come in here every Tuesday and Thursday and you speak about slavery. But can you not see that the majority of your students are black women? Talk to us about our history. Talk to us about us. Don't talk about slavery in generic terms. There are gender dimensions to this. And black men and black women did not experience slavery in the same way. There were different experiences, fundamentally different experiences. We have to capture all of that. And so I said to the students, there's no material. I don't have any data to give you specific classes on the experiences of women. So I took a year off. I took a semester, and I went to the UK to spend a year in the archives. And what did I find? I found that there is more material in the archives about black women than about black men. There is more data in the archives about the experiences of black women as mothers, as wives, as workers, as reproducers than black men. So therefore, why was the history not written that way in the first place? Because we men, as scholars, as historians, as political scientists, we are the ones who wrote a history by writing women out of their history. So now we are writing history the right way for the first time. So I am saying to you that when you speak of the reparations movement, you speak not only of the phases of history, where we are, but you also speak about the liberation of women's history into the present. This document, finally, Mr. Chairman, and beyond my time, as we were sitting planning our reparations meetings and our next activities and so on, we were hearing in the media that maybe the nuclear solution to the war in Iran is going to come before sooner or later. So we are here at this time in history and hearing of the possibility of dropping nuclear bombs on people to solve a political problem. We're also hearing powerful leaders talking about obliterating civilizations from the earth, obliterating the people, bombing them back to the Stone Age. That is a language that is surrounding us every day. As we breathe the air, we are hearing those sounds of the human species reaching a brink of possible annihilation. So the question is, what do we black people want? We don't only want justice for what has happened to us, to create a level playing field. We are concerned about the future of humanity, because we, the African people, we are the beginning of humanity. It is us, the African people. All the science has now shown life originated in Africa. So we own humanity. Humanity is our product. It has come out of us in our continent. So we have a responsibility for all of humanity, because this is the nature of our history. And so we said, reparations is the call for a new enlightenment, that the human species need to admit and accept of these crimes that were committed and imagine a better world for everyone. But before we get there, we have to deal with this. Because the truth is that what they did to the African people continues to be a toxic culture in the whole world.
I could sit and listen over and over and yet again to that delivery by Sir Hilary Beckles, who leads and chairs the CARICOM Reparations Commission, as they are on duty at the moment in the United Kingdom, meeting not just with parliamentarians but other activists and the press to share the message of the manifesto on reparations, indeed, in this coming age of enlightenment, indeed. And so that concludes this week's conversations on CARICOM. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
27 and a half after the hour of 6 o'clock this Tuesday morning, Selwyn Brooks is here. He's one of the consultants in the Department of Emergency Management. He works very closely with the district emergency organizations. And he's here because upcoming very, very soon, there is a regional conference that takes a look at some things that should interest us. And so to you, Mr. Brooks, good morning.
Good morning, Barbados.
Good to have you company indeed. I know you have a lot of work at hand, particularly at this time of year, but particularly now because tomorrow, there's the start of a regional conference. What's going on?
Yes, tomorrow we will be welcoming persons from the Caribbean to our regional conference, Advancing Sustainable Community Resilience Through Shared Responsibility. This is going to be held at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Complex, and they are going to be here for 3 days of exciting talks and to see how we can continue our quest to build community resilience and what is involved. And more importantly, how can we get persons to understand that it is a shared responsibility as we're looking at building community resilience, not only in Barbados, but in the wider Caribbean.
So all of our Caribbean, well, not all, but most of our partners in the region are coming together at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre from tomorrow for the next few days. And you're looking at all of that. Strong communities require shared responsibility. Essentially, that's what you're looking at. What are some of the sub-themes in this conference that you'll be addressing?
Okay, the first day, apart from our keynote speaker, we will be bringing certain persons from the wider Caribbean and business sector and the economic sector in Barbados. So let us look at livelihoods. What is it involved? Because when we look at resilience, persons only see the Department of Emergency Management. So we want to focus on a high-level panel discussion where we have the Small Business Association, we have representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture, we have the Governor of the Central Bank, and we have persons from UNDP who will be coming together to answer a number of questions that we have prepared so as to set the stage for the 3 days of dialogue, discussion as we approach this theme, advancing community resilience and a shared responsibility.
So I could hear in the minds of some who are watching and viewing today, this is a lot of talk. Do you get that sense sometimes that as if we've been talking for so long that somehow we've not yet reached a destination?
Well, coming after the heels of last year's very successful conference, this motivated by the interaction from those persons who have interacted so far, especially from the Caribbean countries. And they are all excited to share in the discussions, because when we look at community resilience, we now have to look at the broader aspect of it. Not only what happens in Barbados, but how we can learn from the best practices of those other Caribbean islands. What have they been doing? So it is a coming together of sharing of ideas and discussion, so that at the end of the conference we can prepare some document that will set the stage in terms of to help us towards our quest to build that level of community resilience that is so desperately needed. Also in the conference, last year we started with the inaugural scholarship in the name of the District Mercy Organization. So we're having 3 students from the Barbados Community College who will be awarded scholarship from the Natural Sciences Department. And this is our opportunity to show that the youth in Barbados, there is scope and there is room in terms of building that wider picture of what community resilience is all about.
So I take it then that the youth will be a part of this conference?
Yes, yes. We have youth, we have persons from the various ministries, we have persons from other organizations, the Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's Association, the disabled community. We also have the business sector. We have brought together a wide cross-section of Barbados to participate in this very critical and very important conference at this point in time.
The Department of Emergency Management is partnering with this CDEMA to really to host all of these folks who are going to be on island, who are probably have already arrived, and over the next few days to have these very deep level, high level consultations and discussions as well. Talk to me about the practical application that flows from these kinds of conferences, so that the individual down the line feels that is part of their responsibility to share.
We're going to be streaming the opening session, and that will give the wider, we would have loved the whole Barbados to participate.
Yes.
The entire conference will be, highlights of it will be captured so we can reproduce aspects of the conference. But what is very critical at this juncture is to let persons know that building resilience under a shared responsibility is everyone has a part to play. So therefore, coming out of the discussions, it is very critical that we share what comes out of the conference so that people have an understanding that they are part of the process. It is not only the Department of Emergency Management and CDEMA, and we're very thankful for our sponsors, the EU, the University of the West Indies Risk Reduction Center, and very important, SAGICOR, for coming on board to help us to host this very important conference. Delegates will be arriving from today, so that we have a good start tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
I want to look specifically at some areas, because when we talk about disaster, we talk about it very broadly, and we only think generally of hurricanes.
Yes.
That's the one with which we're more familiar. But there are others in the Caribbean who are familiar with other forms of disaster, be it volcanic eruptions or threats of earthquakes and consequences that flow therefrom. Are you going to be looking at specific incidences like these, or is it broadly, and then we see how together we can mitigate?
That is very critical question you asked, because that is why we have brought together persons from the other Caribbean islands. Barbados has not been really impacted in this magnitude of our other Caribbean countries. So if you look in terms of what has happened in Jamaica last year, what has happened in St. Vincent in Farmers, what has happened in Dominica, we have St. Lucia, Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent. They are all countries that have been adversely affected in the past. So when we look in terms of resilience, what we want to focus on in this conference is bringing the reality, how has community responded, benefited from the outcomes after the impact, and critical, what part do you person as a community, a member of a community, to bring it home to you to understand that when we speak about community resilience, we're speaking about how would you adapt to the various ramifications that climate change and other weather factors will bring. So not only are we looking in terms of the hazard and how it would impact, but what are the consequences and how will people respond to the various shocks associated with the hazards and the level of impact? How will we build that level of resilience to get back to some level of normalcy, especially if you look in terms of what we have been able to achieve in the Caribbean? That can be wiped away in a matter of hours if you have a prolonged impact, whether it be hurricane, whether it be volcanic. We see what's happening in Venezuela as we speak, and we saw what has happened with Hurricane Arthur, which is estimated to cost the United States well over $100 million as the first storm in the hurricane in 2026. So the reality is we will be impacted someday. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we as Barbadians and the wider Caribbean must prepare ourselves for what is likely to happen and how do we cope to the very shocks associated with these hazards that will come a-calling. It is not a matter if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when, and we must be prepared for it.
And part of that preparation is, yes, preparing for its impact, but
Yes.
recovery
Recovery,
is also part of it. I'm glad you
yes.
have your partner in Sagicor Insurance who are going to be a part of this seminar as well.
Yes, Sagicor is one of our very valuable sponsors, not only in terms of this conference, but to the overall disaster management over the years. And I think they bring a certain perspective in terms of insurance is very critical. And what is required in terms of building back. And not only building back, but building back better. And how can we get persons to understand that you are the focus of this conference in terms of what can you do, what can you learn, and what you ought to do to build that level of resilience that is possible.
A lot of times, a lot of people in different industries just see it as destruction of building or property, but not realize that in these impacts, there is a decimation of crops and other livelihoods.
Yes.
And I want to look at that specifically and what the conference can lend where that is concerned right after this break. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados will love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, you should hear the discussions while we were at that commercial break just a moment ago. I'm with Selwyn Brooks, who is a consultant with the Department of Emergency Management, because he's one of those people who will be a part of that upcoming conference which starts tomorrow in bringing to play all of our, or most of our regional partners. We can all learn from each other as we share stories and experiences and best practices, because it's a shared responsibility. And so, Selwyn, as we took the break, I was wanting to talk to you a little bit about those who are in other areas of endeavor. We know of the hoteliers and the concern they have for property. We know of the business houses who are concerned about, floods and rising waters and the destruction of property as well there. But what about the farmers and stuff? Are they also a part of this conference?
Yes, the Ministry of Agriculture is on board, and as many of the ministries who can attend have been invited. But the Ministry of Agriculture, when we look in terms of food protection, and also how will the adverse effects of the various hazards affect agriculture. And part of our field tour, there will be representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture which will be taking us as part of their risk reduction measures in terms of in the Scotland district. We will also be looking in terms of how has it impacted Spicetown. There are practical examples to show how we have been able to build a certain level of resilience to the flood hazard by the various processes, so that persons can understand when you see these things, they're not just something that the Ministry of Public Works have done. They are there to help protect and to preserve the environment in terms of what is likely to happen from the level of devastation that is associated with the hazards.
And that's why I'm glad that you open it up, that our average Barbadians can come, because we see ourselves what's happening around us. We see it before it actually happens, and sometimes we just stay quiet or call the calling programs or hope that someone heard. And in looking at it within the context of shared responsibility, how much of the conference will be spent on helping to sensitize about how we can share that responsibility?
Yes, very critical component of that is when we're looking at social protection for vulnerable groups. Now, vulnerable groups here is not only vulnerable person, but vulnerable groups. We also want to look in terms of climate change adaptation to risk reduction, and how does youth and gender focuses in building resilience. Now, most impacts, young people and females are affected differently than males, and they're a very critical part of the recovery process. The trauma, the issues that they go through because of being a youth or being a female is one of the areas that we're going to be looking at in terms of addressing. Also in the conferences, technology. How can we use to our advantage the technology that currently exists that can assist us not only in terms of alleviating the problems, but educating and getting persons to use it to the maximum so that we can have the maximum benefit. And last but not least, community preparedness and response. There is always room for letting the public know. We are bringing over 120 delegates. We would love to have all of Barbados, but one of the outcomes of this conference, we will be approaching the various sectorial groups after the conference to engage them with what came out of the conference, so that it is not just 3 days of activity. We want to see this as a follow-on to other community projects and ideas and discussions, so that we widen the scope of the dialogue in terms of what everyone has a part to play and what they need to do.
I'm so glad Jamaica is going to be a part of this conference as well, because Hurricane Melissa last year taught us so much about how a portion of the island can rally and be resilient still. And so, are you excited about that delegation coming to share that story as well as I am?
Unfortunately, Jamaica at the last they are not able to attend.
Oh.
However, we are still likely to have reports coming out of what has happened in Jamaica. To put together a conference like this, especially around this time, a lot of the disaster management agencies, they are very engaged around the hurricane season, building a level of resilience and the partnership. So unfortunately, Jamaica is not physically going to be here, but the information from Jamaica will be shared.
Oh, and that's so glad to hear. And so this is an open invitation right now, I think, for those who have not yet registered, who are members of the district emergency organizations, to really show up, to be a part of this conference as well, for you to be able not just to hear and sit and listen, but to learn from experiences of your partners across the region as well.
Yes, well, it's too late now for registration because the conference starts tomorrow, and for logistical reasons, we've had to have a cutoff date.
Right.
But nevertheless, we have approximately 15 units from out of the 30 who are actually participating. It comes at a time during the week, and most DOs are either working or whatever, so it might not be possible to have the 3 days off. But we're so glad that we've had at least half of the district emergency organization who will be represented to share in the discussion and to also put forward their case in terms of what they're doing. And at the end of it, as a collective, the communique that will come out of the conference will reflect a collective discussion and ideas going forward.
I'm excited to hear what comes out of it indeed. And so it starts tomorrow until the 17th.
Yes.
You said it's being streamed tomorrow's session.
The opening session, the keynote speaker is going to be, I'm not going to tell you who the person is yet, so I want persons to view it. But this keynote speaker is going to set the stage in terms of what is community resilience, because I think persons do not fully appreciate or understand what we're talking about when we speak about community resilience. And then from the panel discussion, the type of discussion coming up from the Small Business Association, the Ministry of Agriculture, UNDP, the Central Bank Governor. Those persons are who actually on a day-to-day basis are actually involved in certain aspects that is very critical to building community resilience in Barbados. The economic component is very critical when we talk about resources and money to cover the costs associated with building back. And when we look at the various aspects of who we need to get involved in community resilience, the youth, the disabled, gender-related issues, also the technology, also in terms of looking at best practices, not only in Barbados, but best practices in the other Caribbean islands, because the overseas delegates will be given the opportunity to speak to what they have done, so that as a collective we can learn from each other. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If something has happened in one of our Caribbean islands, that can easily be adapted to Barbados and vice versa in Barbados. So that level of shared responsibility, shared ideas, shared commitment, shared coming together, because we are one. The Caribbean every year faces a threat from the hurricane season. The Caribbean shares a number of aspects of shocks associated not only in terms of hurricanes, but other hazards that can impact us. So we want to come together, bring that information on how we have been able to survive and adapt to climate change consequences, and see what we can do as a collective meaning here, the whole Caribbean, and let us come together and share those best practices.
It's going to be interesting indeed. What time is that tomorrow?
We're starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
10 o'clock.
But
online on YouTube.
The actual presentation, the keynote speaker, there's so many things, is actually going to start at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow.
We'll find it. We'll watch it.
It will be streaming. GIS has graciously consented to stream the opening and the panel discussion.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Selwyn Brooks, as always, for joining us this morning. Selwyn Brooks, consultant with the Department of Emergency Management, reminding us that tomorrow is very critical that we watch it. Tomorrow on the YouTube page of the Government Information Service, the opening and the keynote speech and the discussion that flows therefrom of the conference that looks at advancing sustainable community resilience through shared responsibility. It starts tomorrow, ends on the 17th. It brings together all of the region as much as possible to come into one space, to just learn from each other and see how together we can all build a community that's resilient. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@ mornin.cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
10 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. Indeed, I'm so excited about this band. The Lend a Hand Kiddies Kadooment Band, Don't Diss My Ability, is on. And so I like it simply because, you know, they've created space for people with different abilities. And sometimes it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. All folks with different abilities just want to live life the way that we all do. There's no difference as far as I'm concerned. And so we're joined this morning by the lady who is the band leader of the Lend a Hand Kadooment Band, and she's also the founder of Oh Yeah Kids in Adebola Oni. Good morning to Adebola.
Good morning.
Good to have you. In the middle, right here sitting, is the tiniest queen I've ever met, Your Majesty Madison. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you indeed. And one of the members of the band who's also a special needs teacher is Tanya Belgrave. Tanya, morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good. Adebola, I'll start with you. Tell me about the band.
All right, so this year, which is our 10th year, which I can't believe, our 10th year of being on the road, we are looking at special needs and disabilities in the country. Mm-hmm. We're looking at greater access for them into spaces, cultural events, education, and we're not looking at disabilities just like standard. We're looking at educational special needs, medical special needs, and genetic special needs, all the different special needs that affect people. So a disability is just something that significantly affects you from being to engage in things that you need to engage in.
In the way that others do.
In the way that others do.
And I deliberately started by saying there's no difference as far as I'm concerned from where I sit as an individual, because you are special just the way you are. As I feel special just the way I am. And the things I can do, sometimes they can do so much better than I. And so we want to be as inclusive as possible. And so I know you've worked with a number of associations, the Autism Association of Barbados, the Down Syndrome Association, and the Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Association as well. What's been the response and acceptance of this?
The band has been involved with special needs since inception. Mm-hmm. We worked with different schools. We've had kids from Derek Smith. We've had kids from Irvin Wilson. And we have kids from St. Christopher Special Unit. So this is years going on that we've been accepting special needs kids in the band. And the response is always positive, because I'm always like, well, as long as they have certain capabilities, because obviously there's not a lot of access on the road.
Right.
But as long as they have certain abilities, bring them. We will manage it.
Let's include them. How many sections are there?
There are 3 sections this year. Mm-hmm. Now, the first section is autism awareness. We've had a lot of autistic kids in the band. Autistic awareness. So autism affects your ability to sometimes communicate. It can delay speech. But at the same time, you might have I don't want to say special. You might have better abilities in particular areas. So it's a neurodivergent special needs. Now, Down syndrome, it's not the only neurodivergent special needs. I just want to say that. It's just the one that we have represented right now. Then you have Down syndrome awareness. And wearing Down syndrome is where you wear the socks. I know people just wear the socks and rock them. They're pretty.
Rock our
and I don't have a problem with that. You know, pretty socks are pretty socks. But there are different genetic disorders, including Down syndrome, that affect how you interact with the world and can cause physical disabilities and may cause educational and mental disabilities, right? So we're using Down syndrome for that. Cystic fibrosis is a very quiet disability. It affects the lungs and the gut. And you wouldn't know if somebody has cystic fibrosis, but it affects how they interact with society and how active they can be. So we're just using these 3 sections to represent all the different kind of disabilities.
And to heighten awareness as well.
Right, yeah.
And Tanya, as a teacher yourself, a member of the band too, talk to me a little bit about how critical, how important is this to have this level of inclusivity in the National Cultural Festival?
Well, in my classroom, we always have an element of culture and national visibility. And Copperville always takes center stage. What I found is that a lot of the children in my class and within the school systems are not included in crop over events. A lot of them are not even aware of what they actually are. They know, crop over, costumes, people on the road, but they don't know there's a place for them. And a lot of them are not actively, well, their parents are not actively saying, let me put you in a band, try it, do something, And our little community that is our band, we are very open to that. Because how are you Barbadian without experiencing the height of our culture? And essentially teaching them that there's a space for them, that this is your culture and you can be a part of it, is one of my biggest or happiest moments in my teaching.
I like how you said can. Emphasis on can. I feel the same way as well. So, Your Majesty, you are the queen of the band.
Yes, please.
How excited are you to be the queen of the band?
I am very excited. The first year I joined Lend a Hand, I was part of a regular section. Then the second year, I was part of a couple with my buddy Bailey. And then this year, I'm going to be the queen of the band. So I'm very excited.
So what are you required to do as queen of the band? Have a wand or something?
No, I'm supposed to wear an outfit, a costume designed by Auntie Nakiba. And I'm supposed to perform on stage and show my outfit. And also, I'm just supposed to be symbolizing how you can help people with disabilities and love them and care for them.
So talk to me about, and talk to the audience about, why it's important to parents to allow their children with disabilities to be a part of this band.
It is very good because you get to learn about the different parts of your culture, and also you get to perform on stage and showcase your costumes, and you also look very pretty and civilized in them.
I love it. How old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
She speaks like a big grown up. Well said, Madison. I'm so proud of you indeed. So have you fitted your costume? Are you ready with it? Are you good with it?
Yes, please. It's very comfortable.
Oh, I was just going to ask you whether it was heavy or not, but it's very comfortable. Have you practiced your movements and everything as well?
Yes, please.
I'm going to watch you. Adebola, is there still space in any of the sections?
Yeah, we still have space in autism awareness, and we still have space in Down syndrome awareness. The cystic fibrosis section went really fast, but we have space in those two sections, and you don't have to be special needs. We will take special needs. We take everybody. It's a diverse band. It always has been, and you can join from 5 years old up to 18.
Okay, too old now.
I know.
So 5 up until 18. But support, give your support, because while there are people with special needs in the band as well, you would also want to be able to hold hands and help them along the way. So you need assistance, right?
Yes, I need assistance.
How can people reach out for assistance?
Oh, well, to reach out, you can contact. We have social media. We have Instagram, where we are LAHB Kiddies on Instagram. And on Facebook, we are Lend a Hand Community Band. And then, of course, our phone number is 248-8729.
Easy to find. Yeah, look at this one on the screen. What's this I'm looking at here?
Oh, this is so we've been on the road since 2014.
This is looking back.
This is looking back. So that is Signs, Symbols, and Sayings. When it was at the stadium, so that's got to be in the 2000 teens. That's the first band. The first band was Come Learn With Me. This is Suns, Barbados, something to do with Barbados, sun, sky, and sand, land. So these are the flowers for the land.
So this is some of the work you've done over the years.
Yeah, this is Taking Barbados to the Stars. This year, okay, so that is Down syndrome awareness.
This is for this year.
This year, yeah.
This is the costume. And there are males and females
of
costumes?
course, yes.
I'm not sure at this stage. Is it a boy or girl?
It's a boy. It's a
Okay.
boy. They're young. They're neutral when they're young.
So this is what the little boys will be wearing
Yes.
in that section of Down syndrome awareness.
Yeah. And that is cystic fibrosis, but that's sold out.
So we still have space for the Down syndrome awareness and the autism awareness sections of the band.
Yeah.
You need to contact the band real fast and get in there, because the little ones are going to have a really grand time on the road spreading the message of awareness and to show that you should not diss my ability. Don't diss my ability. Let's open our eyes and see this is also part of the Down syndrome.
That is autism.
There's autism.
Autism awareness.
And I like the fact that you created the costume in a way that you can feel and touch and experience it in a way that it best communicates with you. And so I'm excited about this as well. Kiddies Kadooman, here they come. Don't Diss My Ability by Lend a Hand, Kadooman Band. And so I'm excited to see what they can. Look out for Queen Madison. Queen Madison, she's proud to wear her costume. Indeed. What section are you in as Queen?
Well,
She wouldn't know.
No, you're just an individual piece.
He's just an
I
individual.
see.
Just an individual. So describe your costume for me, Madison.
my costume has a big sphere heart at the back. It's 3-dimensional. And it's also a flower. So I'm going to have on a flower. And then I'm going to have a backpack with the heart and also sticks sticking out that show the different awarenesses.
Wow, well said. You sound so pretty already in the way you were speaking. Can't wait to see how you carry it off, indeed. Adabola, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with
Thank
the
you for
band,
having
indeed.
us.
All the best. Madison, I'm proud of you. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the road as well, having
Yes,
a good time.
thanks.
And Matt and Tanya, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for being a teacher of heart, because you teach from the heart. I could hear it in your voice as well, and creating spaces and opportunities for people with different abilities to be a part of regular life, because they're no different from you or me.
That's correct.
Thank you so very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn the
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's get to the news now. Barbadians are being assured that the Central Bank of Barbados is working around the clock to iron out several issues with the newly launched instant payment system, BIMPay. Governor Dr. the Most Honourable Kevin Greenidge says the bank is collaborating with financial institutions to ensure that BIMPay delivers the service it was promised.
Since BIMPay went live a month ago, it has moved over close to 750,000 transactions between banks and other financial institutions at a value of $1.3 billion, each one taking mere seconds. Additionally, more than 24,000 Barbadians have downloaded and registered the e-wallet and roughly 14,000 have linked it to their bank accounts, with wallet-only transactions amounting to 1.4 million. Meanwhile, Dr. Greenidge says the failure rate, which includes delayed or unsuccessful transactions, is 0.2%. Among them were some salary and pension payments.
And that is happening, as I say, that's roughly 2 in every 500 transactions. And that rate is falling. No, it's a number, but I don't want that number to stay there like a statistic, because it's not a statistic. In the last month, that 0.2% failure rate represents salaries that did not reach a worker account on payday. It represents pensions that did not reach a pension when it should have reached on time. And that is what a failed payment is.
However, Dr. Greenidge says the central bank has been requiring institutions to resolve transaction issues.
And while the institution is doing that, looking for the cause to fix the cause, we require that they put monies in that customer account and then after reconciling back in. In other words, we ask them to issue what we call provisional credits, meaning that if a person's salary or their pension did not arrive because something failed between the employer and your financial or their financial institution, that financial institution is to credit that person now and sort the problem out afterwards.
Governor Greenidge says as of Friday, July 10th, all June salaries and pensions have been paid. However, he notes a second problem is that people have been registering with BIMPay but finding it difficult to get on the system. He says as an interim measure, institutions must provide a link on their online homepage that generates the BIMPay token needed to access the system. And the bank has also found that institutions have been setting lower limits on the BIMPay e-wallet than what customers have on their own online channels and apps. He made it clear that a lower limit cannot be imposed simply because the customer is using the BIMPay app. Another issue is that sometimes money sent is taking a long time to reach recipients when it should be received within 10 seconds.
And so we at Central Bank, we are examining every institution and working with them to ensure that there is no queuing between BIMPay and their core system, and requiring every institution to confirm that payments have been submitted, received, and posted to customer accounts without material delay.
Barbadians are being assured that the central bank will continue working with banks and other financial institutions to ensure BIMPay is running smoothly. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
At the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will be operating with extended hours in effort to clear a backlog caused by the introduction of a new digital system. This is according to the Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services, Dr. the Most Honorable Corey Ford, who was speaking on the Pulse radio show on Q100.7 FM. Dr. Ford explains that the transition from the old system resulted in some delays of service, and he says that while they've been able to clear some of the backlog, additional measures will be in place to address the matter.
So yes, you'll hear shortly about some extended hours to try to compensate for that. What we've already done is engage thanks for those pharmacists within the community who have stepped up to help QEH. That started this Saturday. We didn't say anything. Stuff. We didn't say anything, but it doesn't matter say anything. You just have to go and do actionable things as opposed to just talk and say what you're going to do. So that someone came on the ground. Actually, one is working this morning as we speak to try to beef up the pharmacy, understanding there's going to be a backlog. So although we may be up to our normal numbers, we expect that, at times we will have these backlogs in place. So it's not something that I would not have expected. So we're currently doing that, and we'll have, and I'll announce in due time, very short order, what those extended hours would be.
He is urging Barbadians to seek refills of their medications before they run out.
I want you to be responsible citizens. And part of that responsibility as well is, don't wait till the day before your medication runs out or come on the day your medication runs out. And I've really spoken to the pharmacy, look, if people come at least a week before, and they want to get their medications renewed, just renew the prescriptions up to, a week or so before, people will come. So do not come when your medication is run out. We don't want you to run out of your medications. We want you to have the best of medical care that there is.
Utility professionals, regulators and commercial developers from across the Caribbean are meeting in Barbados for a 3-day workshop focused on ensuring that water and electricity services are priced fairly and proportionately. The session is being hosted by the Organization of Caribbean Utility Regulators in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank. Acting Division Chief with the CDB, William Ashby, highlighted the challenges that must be considered when utility rates are set in the region. He was speaking during the opening of the event at the headquarters of the CDB.
In the water sector, utilities face aging infrastructure, rising operating costs, climate-related pressures, high levels of non-revenue water, and growing investment requirements. In the energy sector, utilities are navigating a significant transformation as countries seek to increase renewable energy penetration, modernize electricity grids, deploy energy storage solutions, and strengthen resilience against natural hazards. These developments require substantial investments and effective regulatory oversight.
Mr. Ashby outlined the importance of rate setting while explaining what regulatory frameworks in the region should look like.
Tariff decisions influence whether utilities can maintain infrastructure, expand services, attract investment, and provide reliable service. At the same time, they affect the affordability of essential services for households and businesses. They influence economic competitiveness, investment decisions, and ultimately the welfare of Caribbean people. The challenge, therefore, is not simply to recover costs. The challenge is to establish regulatory frameworks that balance financial sustainability, economic efficiency, service quality, transparency, affordability, and fairness.
Let's go to sports now. Barbados claimed victory number 2 in the CWI Rising Stars Men's Under-19s 50-over Championship, beating the Leeward Islands Under-19s by 258 runs in Antigua. Captain Gadsden Bowens struck a double century as Barbados Under-19s posted a whopping 439 for 8 off their allotted overs. Bowens smashed 209 off 121 balls with 22 fours and 13 sixes after the young Barbadians were sent into bat at the Liberta Sporting Club. He was supported by 54 from opener DeMarco Wiggins and an unbeaten 53 from Jahidi Hines. Matthew Miller took 4 for 68. Here's a look at that innings.
Nicely punched off the back foot. Is going to race very close to the boundary, and it does get there.
In reply, the Leewards under 19s were bowled out for 181 in 23.5 overs, with 59 from Kunal Tilokani. Jahidi Hines took 4 for 39. The Barbados under 19s, they won by 258 runs. That's a look at news and sports until now. More news and sports coming up at noon right here on TV8. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Come on, Jai. Every time I plant my crop, somebody got one eyeball on it. Man, stop thieving, man. Peeping, all the thieves them peeping. Them like too much thieving. Pan my crops them peeping. I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them teeth can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. All my crops, them thieves can reap.
One eyeball is the code.
Start thief out my sweet mind goes. Wanna tackle this thing for a joke? These editors and yams ain't come on the board. Man, please don't support the thieves who thief people fruits and selling them cheap. Be your brothers, keep up on the streets. So help the farmers, don't help the thieves.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them thieves can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. All my crops, them thieves can reap. I got camera all light. The thieves down to the bus for the night. They want thief everything in sight. And one of them know that ain't right. Support the farmers, keep we food clean. And let me keep Barbados green. Man, don't buy nothing for the thieves. I give them one eyeball, let them pee.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them thieves can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. All my crops, them thieves can reap.
One eyeball is the code.
Start thief out my sweet mind goes. Wanna tackle this thing for a joke? These editors and yams ain't come on the board. Man, please don't support the thieves who thief people fruits and selling them cheap. Be your brothers, keep up on the streets. So help the farmers, don't help the thieves.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I'm watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't sleep. Cause if I blink, them teeth can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I got them my beat.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. Farmers in trouble if they don't stop teeth.
Lord forgive me, sweet and catchy to the point you get it, one eyeball, because I don't get no sleep. That seems to be the cry of farmers all over the place indeed, isn't it? Isn't it? And we're not just speaking to farmers now, we're speaking to consumers, we're speaking to everyone in the cycle that happens as it relates to farming, to purchasing, to consuming, and it goes and goes. We're joined this morning by the newly minted Chief Agricultural Officer in Paul Lucas. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Good to have you indeed, and welcome to the office that you hold now. And you've been tossed in at the point when Barbadians are discussing one of the biggest subjects that bothers the living daylights out of them, predial larceny. Give me a sense from where you sit as the Chief Executive Officer about the scope. How big a problem is this predial larceny?
Thank you again for having me. One of the largest and most challenging aspects of agriculture is the issue of predial larceny. I think by interacting with farmers, you begin to understand just the magnitude of the problem. There is the concern that because of predial larceny, their production is going to be affected and also their livelihoods. We really want to work with those farmers, and this is the reason why this campaign is being launched. We recognize that it can be a major threat to food security here on island and regionally as we look at addressing the concerns related to food.
Yeah. So this has been such a bugbear for so long, and I'm glad that the ministry, not that you no taking it seriously, you have been taking it seriously over the while, but I want to get a sense of how the campaign will roll out and some of the things that you are going to be implementing as you roll out the campaign, so we could see how we can effect the change we're seeking to have.
Yeah, as you said, this campaign is something that looks to address it on a national level. The public awareness is important because we recognize that persons need to understand their part and their role in this entire process. There have been efforts made before, but again, the thieves are very persistent. And what we recognize is that as things have begun to change, it went from being a little petty theft to more organized and larger systems in place that affect the farmers. So yes, we're trying to make persons aware of the fact that there's a role to be played and we have to protect the farmers. In fact, I would go as far as to say it would be good to engage with farmers to begin to understand and appreciate what they're doing and how difficult it can be after making huge investments that they suffer these major losses. So as you saw in the little animation, we really want to support farmers here in Barbados. Yeah.
And that's important to do. I mean, they feed us, they feed the nation, and they put so much into production, from land to fertilizer, from the employment of people, to move that process along. And then to one day, with one eye, you see someone goes and they take advantage of what you've spent so much time and invested so much in being able to create. And that hurts people. Absolutely. And that hurts a farmer to the core, because for him or her, they're looking to benefit at the end of that process.
Correct. And you also take into account the fact that farmers already have so many challenges. You talk about climate change, you talk about pest diseases, you talk about all the factors that affect not just production, but productivity of their crops. So you have farmers, and not just the farmers themselves, but those that they employ. They're doing this tremendous work for the country. And as soon as you think that all is well, and it is time to harvest, there is someone out there actually looking at your crops and trying to get to them before you. So we're asking also consumers to be very mindful of where they get or choose to purchase the produce from, and questions have to be asked. From our standpoint, we're trying to put a number of measures in place, legislative, but we're also looking at systems like rebates so that farmers and people getting into the system could be supported. as they try to safeguard their investments. And there are a number of incentives that look at the physical barriers, perhaps. We are talking about security cameras. We're also talking about just things that could help protect and secure the investments of the farmers.
We heard about night patrols and all that. There are many elements to this dynamic that we've been hearing about that will be implemented.
Correct.
And we also heard of the penalty, the cost to the individual who is caught as the big thief. And so there are many elements to this, but we often think of crops and crops alone for something we consume, but then there's other property like equipment, and tools, and vehicles and all the rest of it, animals even.
Yes, there's an entire range. So initially there was the Predial Larceny Prevention Act, and it was upgraded then, and we looked at the protection of agricultural products and livestock. And then that was in 2017. And then more recently, we looked at the protection of agricultural products in 2022. And each time they upgraded the legislation to cover and encompass more of the products coming from the agricultural systems, but also the implements within those systems. So we're looking at things that could be done to ensure that persons who are in production, our farmers, are protected. And on top of that, you said the penalties, which is very good to know. It is a crime. So anything associated with the theft of agricultural products, and the goods and the equipment, that is a crime. And in the legislation, we have outlined penalties that could include anywhere from between 10,000 to 100,000 in fines. And you're talking about anywhere between 2 years to 5 years imprisonment, or a combination of both. So it's best that you not be involved and support the farmers.
This is serious stuff. This is not a joke, folks. This is not a joke for those of you who get tempted at times to see someone else's property, the farmer's property, and you figure, hey, let's take good use of it. I know you all grew up thinking we're going to break some cane in the center of the cane field. We've been there. But think of the farmer who is invested for just a moment. And as you grow, that's no longer funny anymore. It's no longer cute. So we want you to be, as people of Barbados, to consider for just a moment the harm you're causing to someone else. When you choose to take opportunity of their particular produce they've worked so hard and invested so much time and energy and money into growing for feeding the nation, because there's also that cost as well, because when we don't produce it ourselves, we have to import it.
Yes, and that's additional cost and expense. And when you think about it, the farmers are providing such good service to us as Bajans, because once something is locally grown, you're more sure that the quality is there.
Absolutely.
And the time and investment in which the farmers tend to pour in to their labor, it must be recognized that they're doing tremendous work on our behalf and should be celebrated as such. So when we talk about the issue of predial larceny, you did mention the whole idea of patrols, and more recently, myself and the minister, we would have done a ride-along. So we were able to engage with the farmers directly and to hear about their concerns, and also from the anti-predial larceny squad and department, where they shared their stories and allowed us to get a different perspective.
Right. I'm now curious as to some of those stories. Can you share any of those stories that you would have heard either from the farmer or the people who are responsible for ensuring we keep all safe?
Oh, absolutely. Some things we will definitely need to keep off the record.
Yes.
But one of the things that was shared by the farmers, we recognize that in addition to working, arriving at the farm early, sometimes from 5 a.m. in the morning, all the way to 5 p.m., and just monitoring their crops, they then return outside just because they know that the thieves are lurking, and there's a high probability that they might be hit in advance of them harvesting. So when you think about the hours they pour into it, you get a sense of appreciation for the farmers and how hard they work. Additionally, there are stories of thieves who are so persistent that they would be caught and they would be fined, and they will come and return and do it again. And we're just blown away by the fact that there's just that persistence in their behavior, and there's no willingness to change. So also we're trying to get more consumers to be mindful of where they choose to purchase the goods and services from.
That we're going to talk about right after this break. How can we all, as partners in this process, make a difference and make a dent into correcting this situation? We'll talk about that right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Come on, Jai. Every time I plant my crop, somebody got one eyeball on it. Man, stop thieving, man. Peeping, all the thieves them peeping. Them like too much thieving. Pan my crops them peeping. I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them teeth can creep.
I give them one eyeball.
You get it. I think you're catching it now. One eyeball, because the poor farmer doesn't get a chance to sleep. And when you don't get enough time to sleep, that puts stress on the body. And when you put stress on the body, you end up with other non-communicable diseases. All because someone or someones wanted to take opportunity from someone else's hard work, indeed. And so we need to put a stop to this, thus the national campaign. We're joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Association. Yep.
Chief Agricultural Officer.
Thank you. I started to stop because it didn't sound right when I talk, you know? The Chief Agricultural Officer, Paul Lucas. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we talked about this campaign, and in the break I said I wanted to talk to you a little bit about us as partners in helping in this campaign to do. What do you want us, general public, to do in this campaign?
One of the things we really want to touch on is the fact that we're in this together. And because Barbados has certain targets in terms of production levels and the quantities in which we hope to produce, we recognize that the farmers need to be supported. And there is a crop escalation program that we're hoping, we are in the process of delivering. And because of the thieves now, they tend to jeopardize those initiatives. Again, the farmers have been very courageous and tolerant given the aspects of theft. But we recognize that we need the general public to understand the need to support farmers and their production. And again, we have to partner with different groups. The Ministry of Agriculture, we cannot do it alone. And again, there are a number of partnerships that we have in place, again, with other ministries, but also with the police service, the Barbados Defence Force. And there are a number of meetings which are happening behind closed doors in terms of the way in which we're going to change the system and how well we're going to roll out some new initiatives. Everything can't be shared at this point in time. However, we recognize that the public needs to be made more aware of how important it is to support local farmers.
Yeah, and that support is not to put money into their pockets alone, but when you do, you're guaranteeing that they have a good return on investment. And so, folks, we have to be careful where we buy our stuff from. Where we buy our produce from. And you talked about this earlier. We should ask some questions.
Yeah.
Should I ask where did you get this hand of banana from?
Yeah.
I love a local banana. So should I ask where did you get this hand of? Because if you know that seller is not themselves into agriculture alone, you can ask about that process along the way to the point of having it in their tray.
Yeah, the idea of traceability, not just for crops, also for livestock. The ministry is also doing a number of things in terms of tagging the animals and making sure that persons are able to see at least there is evidence of where it came from and who would have produced the livestock. Additionally, we're looking a lot at things like even apiculture. We're looking at the bees, we're looking at what's being produced by them. And persons, again, have to be curious as to where these people are getting the honey from.
Yeah.
And I think just in general, the conversation surrounding theft within the agricultural sector is important, and how best do we work on the traceability. We're having the different groups in terms of monitoring, and recognize the fact is that the police also have the authority to ask the questions, where did you get this from? And that in that way it is important to have like your receipts and your documentation. And in so doing, people must be on guard, because as we roll out this campaign, there's certain initiatives that will be taken. And because of that, if you're involved in this process, just recognize there are harsh penalties.
I feel as if I should burst the bubble. In other words, as a consumer, ask questions of the seller.
Correct.
As the seller, you should ensure that you own legitimate crop. And so forth to sell, whether it is livestock or farm produce as well. That means you must have your paper in order.
Correct.
Because there will be spot checks. Am I reading you right?
That is entirely correct.
There you go. So I thought it was going to burst this bubble. So that's what's going to be happening as part of this campaign. But it requires all of us to know. And so more and more, what we just shared before, every time we hear the song, with the peeping thing, we need to pay attention. Don't just dance to the music alone. Listen carefully, see, but therefore the grace of God go I, because that's our neighbor who's impacted by what we do as thieves of crop and property. We've all been guilty from time to time. And so therefore we have to just change this behavior. And this campaign seeks to do so without having to penalize anyone. We want us to right now work on self, change self. If it gets a little difficult, then penalty will have to be paid. But that's what one does with children, and to get the change in behavior that one wants to see. Indeed. And so this campaign is going to run. I don't think there can be an end to this campaign.
It has to be ongoing.
It has to be ongoing.
But during the month of July in particular, we want to shine the spotlight
well said.
on perennial larceny. Additionally, there are issues related to health and well-being, because in some instances, the thieves might try to steal produce which already sprayed with various chemicals, and the time to harvest is actually something which they don't take note of, but the farmers might know. So when you then purchase something from these thieves, not knowing, you may become very sick. And that is one of the reasons why we tell persons it's best to build our relationship with farmers and to understand what is happening, and just generally to have a conversation. If you do consume these products and you then recognize you become sick, chances are that some of the produce might be, And so we're just encouraging people to be more mindful and to have an understanding that the farmers who labor and toil, they deserve only the best.
Oh, you got that right. They truly, truly deserve it. So one, if you find yourself ill, tell the truth. Say, I got it from Peter's stall. Let the authorities deal with it from there, and on. Because we should, if we see something, say something.
Absolutely.
If you driving along and you notice, hey, well, hold on, there's a patch where there was none before. Everything was thriving, and suddenly there's a problem, and you report it.
Yes.
Say something.
Say something. And then for those persons who may be just in a community where there are farmers, and they recognize, wait a minute, that's an unfamiliar face.
Yes.
Lurking within the field. I think it is important to take note of these things and also to share that information, because it affects the farmer, but it also affects the livelihoods of the employees, their families, the community in general, Barbados, and our national initiative in terms of food security, food and nutritional security. So we just really wanted people to keep their eyes open and to understand that this affects us all.
This campaign you will see here on CBC TV8, you will hear on our radio stations across the island, and you'll engage in the newspapers as well, because it's a national campaign to see the change we all desire. Stealing farm produce, the penalties are heavy, folks. Stealing agricultural products can also lead to a $100,000 fine, up to 5 years in prison, vehicle and goods seized. It's serious. It's as serious as that. The police powers, yes, the vehicles can be stopped. So the police may stop and search vehicles. They may stop, search, seize produce, seize the vehicles, or arrest without a warrant. All of these are things that are all caught up in this campaign as well. We're saying stop pretty larceny. And why is this law mattering to anybody at all? Because it protects farmers' livelihoods, national food security, as we've heard from Paul, fair trade, and it protects us, the consumers, as well. And that's why we need to take all of this quite serious, Barbados. Indeed, the campaign is on Engage by being eyes and ears and reporting to assist our brothers and sisters in agriculture. And when you do so, the grateful nation says thank you. And to you, Paul, good to meet you.
Yes,
thank you so much for joining us indeed.
Thanks for
Paul
having me.
Lucas, Chief Agricultural Officer.
Yes, please.
Indeed, it's a ministry. I got that right at the end of it all. But you know, more and more as it goes, feel free to come back with us on Morning Barbados as we talk more about agriculture in general,
Yes,
and how we can work together as a nation and as companies to be able to effect the changes we want to see.
Absolutely. And I would like to add that you could also follow on the ministry's page, agriculture.gov.bb, and we also have a social media page, Instagram, Ministry of Agriculture, BB.
Yep.
And those are ways in which we also try to get the message across. And in partnership with CBC, we really want to get the message out, and we want persons to understand we all have a part to play. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to more messages and skits and jingles and animation just highlighting perennial larceny and the need to stop.
Indeed, well said. Paul Lucas, Chief Agricultural Officer, with us this morning. The campaign has begun, Barbados, and so let's play our part. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
All right.
Plant my crop. Somebody got one eyeball on it. Man, start thieving, man. Peeping, all the thieves them peeping. Them like too much thieving. Pan my crops them peeping. I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them teeth can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. All my crops, them thieves can reap.
One eyeball is the code.
Start thief out my sweet mind goes. Wanna tackle this thing for a joke? These editors and yams ain't come on the board. Man, please don't support the thieves who thief people fruits and selling them cheap. Be your brothers, keep up on the streets. So help the farmers, don't help the thieves.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I blink, them thieves can creep.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get no sleep. All my crops, them thieves can reap. I got camera all light. The thieves down to the bus for the night. They want thief everything in sight. And one of them know that ain't right. Support the farmers, keep we food clean. And let me keep Barbados green. Man, don't buy nothing for the thieves. I give them one eyeball, let them pee.
I give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep, cause I watching my sheep.
Give them one eyeball, I don't get to sleep. Cause if I...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted,
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
15 minutes to go to 8 o'clock now on July the 5th, Sunday, July the 5th. All of you, I saw the numbers, went to the National Botanical Gardens for the Republic Bank Pandemonium. And boy, was a good time had indeed. As a matter of fact, the titled band, the Republic Bank Steel Orchestra, they were one of those bands that took on a different approach to what they shared on that day. It's so different, I wanted to share it with you as well. So take a listen and a look.
We're going to go straight to the stage now for the title band, the Republic Bank Steel Orchestra. Check it out.
Sweet 4 days. The Republic Bank Steel Orchestra there as part of the Republic Bank Pandemonium, powered by Vibes 94.7 FM. And there you heard, they started with, we shared with you, Young Brother, Inch by Inch, then to Luther Vandross, Never Too Much, ending with DeBarge and Rhythm of the Night. What a moment had by all on the 5th of July as part of Pandemonium for Crop Over. And the season continues. There's still a whole lot more on the calendar of activities. We'll take a break right here. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world. Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados will love...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, here I am now. Still to come, looking ahead at the crop of a calendar, I can tell you that the Junior Monarch Finals are on Saturday the 18th. Saturday the 18th. Today being the 14th. That means it's this coming Saturday, as a matter of fact, and we want you all to come out and indeed support the juniors. It's at Carrie Festa House and begins at 7 in the evening on Saturday. The Junior Monarch Finals, and that one also looks to be a really, really good evening indeed. So it starts at 7. The Junior Monarch Finals, tickets for adults $25, children just $10. Carrie Festa House this coming Saturday at 7 o'clock. This coming Thursday for Q in the community, we're going to a new venue. It's a different venue. If you're in Oystins, just at the Wingstop, you know exactly where that is, right? I don't want to give too much of it. It's near to one of the petrol stations, near to the supermarket area. It's that space in between there. It is a lovely space to be. This coming Thursday for Thursday's edition of Q in the community, right there on the road. Can't miss it indeed. All the feather banners and the music will be playing indeed. So I want you to get familiar with the location, because Thursday we're looking for all of you. And that's it for today. My little crew joins in saying to all of you, have a marvelous today. Be the will of the Lord. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.